We are at the 2026 RPT Convention in Houston, Texas. This is actually one of my very good friends. This is Wes Virdell. He's a state rep from the Hill Country, who's also a taxpayer champion. And so, Wes, this is not your first convention. You're a grassroots guy. You've been to a couple of these, right? At least.
Yeah, about.
What feels different about this convention than maybe years prior, right? Like something's off.
Yeah,
right?
it's different. It's definitely different.
It's just not the same. Sort of. I can't explain it. Can you?
No, I can't. I'm not a delegate this year. The last three conventions I've been a delegate, and I didn't this time, and so I'm not in the SD room as much, or CD tomorrow will be CDs, I guess, but I'm not sure. But
it feels less divisive. I feel like unity is something we always say at convention. I always tell people convention is the bow you put on the primary, and there's always calls for unity, but I feel like there is like a cohesiveness, a unity that is very tangible. There's a lot less division. What, am I barking up the wrong tree, or do you feel that too?
Yeah, it's just more somber, not somber, quiet, something like that. I don't know how to put it.
Stable.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Stability feels weird for grassroots.
It's different. It's also been a lot more issues focused, I feel like. So I've been in Ledge Priorities all week, working on those, and there's like this high-level cerebral understanding of like what needs to get done. Do you feel that too? What are some of the main issues you hear people coming to talk about with a real intensity this time?
Right now is making sure that Sharia law doesn't have stand. The other is property taxes. Like that has been elevated significantly higher.
We had a huge fight about whether or not the legislative priority should say eliminate property taxes, period.
I saw that.
Or eliminate property taxes, and here's some specific examples of what we mean.
Yeah.
And so that I think is really encouraging. You mentioned the Sharia law stuff. There's a couple of other first-timey issues that are not were not part of the platform until this week, but are also going to inevitably be legislative priorities. The other big one I can think of is the data centers. And one thing that I continue to hear, especially in testimony during the LP, is that these are some of the wealthiest companies in the world. And we don't really need to be shelling out taxpayer money to these guys. I think a lot of times we sit around and hear about how, we're going to bring jobs and we'll do whatever we can in order to make that a reality and shovel hundreds or tens of millions of dollars to these companies. I don't think that's going to be something that lawmakers consider when it comes to these data centers. You feel that way?
No, there was a bill filed last session. It didn't go anywhere, and I think it intentionally didn't go anywhere, but to like exempt them from property taxes, and that's not good. But we all want to be exempt from property taxes, right, to be fair. But anyways, there's some crony capitalism that's been going on with the data centers, and then the abatements has been a concern, like we're talking about, and so. I think there's a lot of pushback right now on counties that have been offering abatements because it also, is a path to lower everybody else's property taxes. If they're going to build a facility like in San Angelo, I think they're estimating $16 billion for the value of the facility, and that my understanding is would equivalent to the property taxes that are paid by all of the taxpayers in that county right now.
Just brutal. That kind of abuse shouldn't be tolerated for anybody. And I don't understand why all of a sudden data centers are supposed to be like the next big thing. But I will say, I feel like there's a lot of really strong pushback, that, hey, they want to make a deal. They need us more than we need them kind of thing. And so I think the appetite for economic development packages, corporate welfare, abatements and stuff like that is maybe less. It's the calls for that are not as strong as they were maybe 18 months ago on this issue.
Yeah, I don't think I might be the only one talking about this right now.
Yeah,
but
sure.
Watching what's happening reminds me of other bubbles that have happened in the past.
Yeah.
And I have a concern that there's an economic boom for certain industries with this going on right now, and there's micro bubbles like where they're being built, like San Angelo, Abilene, my district down in Castroville.
Right. Southwest DFW seems like a hotbed right now.
Once the construction's done, I think you'll see those micro bubbles bust, and then there's going to be some fallout there. And then if you look at China right now, they've been overbuilt. It's my understanding. They've got too many buildings there that they built for data centers, and now they have a bunch of empty buildings that aren't being used. And when the technology changes in 5 years too, then maybe that's the rest of the bubble popping.
Somebody told me the lifespan of these things is, this was in testimony, it said like 18 months. Now, apparently they can adapt, like they're, scalable, and
Yeah.
you can change the technology out relatively easy.
So
But that's so crazy that you would have taxpayers subsidize something that's supposed to last the life of at least the mortgage, right?
Yeah, and I got a crazy story.
Yeah.
It's gonna be hard to believe. I was in D.C. For a meeting with Trump's cabinet.
Yeah.
And I ended up going to. I met some friends, and some other guys were with them. And this one guy was from another country. He had sold his data mining facility to America, and then came over here. And then we were at a Korean karaoke bar afterwards, which was weird. I don't know why, but anyways, I was talking to him, and I'm trying to like understand better. And he was like, "Hey, the real problem, is when they ramp up to the next technology and all the new chips are going to have to come in.
Right.
There's going to be a second layer of issues that are going to develop from that too." So now I don't know if he's right or not. Like, I don't have a data center or data mining facility in my possession, but he had the largest data mining facility in the country he was at. So yeah,
that's wild. One of the other issues you mentioned, property taxes. I think obviously that's something we're very involved in. We'd love to see the elimination of property taxes. We absolutely need to start with the M&O school portion, that rate compression. We could eliminate, 60% of somebody's home property taxes very easily if lawmakers will just exercise some fiscal discipline, use surplus money. But I've been talking to people, and what I'm hearing is banning taxpayer-funded lobbying is a really important first step. And that a lot of the reform packages that have been on the table over the last several years would have passed already if not for the practice of banning taxpayer-funded lobbying, right?
Yeah.
So talk to me about that. I know you've been a vocal opponent of taxpayer-funded lobbying. Where do you see this fight going next session?
I want to make sure that our local governments can still be funded. Like that's, I got a call from a city manager yesterday who said, "Hey, our insurance," this is another fiscal issue, is like, "Hey, our insurance just increased another 30%." And so a quarter of their funds right now, it's a fifth to a quarter of their funds right now for the entire operating expense for that municipality is going towards insurance. And I think we really got to attack the insurance side of that too, to make it all make sense. So yeah.
Wow. What are some other things that you're excited to hear people talking about, accomplishing while you're here in convention so far?
It's a great question. There's a lot of passion right now about the data center focus, the transmission lines. Eminent domain is like
that's another one that affects your district kind of disproportionately.
I have 16 counties. All 16 counties are proposed to be affected by the transmission lines. And the eminent domain is going to be a big push for me next session. I think we need to reform. Like, it's supposed to be there for the most rare of circumstances, right, where it has to be done.
Some sort of absolute necessity.
Yeah, and unfortunately, there's an appetite from certain industries to utilize eminent domain a lot, which is happening way too much lately. And so I want to strengthen landowner rights, what we call the Landowner Bill of Rights. And so I think that that's an important one to focus on.
That's great. We're here with Representative Wes Virdell, Hill Country State Rep. We're at the 2026 RPT Convention in Houston. Wes, maybe a parting word, something encouraging, or a call to action you have for all the delegates here in Houston, and then the folks at home following along there too.
Yeah, thanks, Destin, for having me. I'm a grassroots activist. I've been coming here since 2020 for the convention, and activism is what led me into getting involved at this level that I'm at now. I think everybody needs to be active, and what I can promise you is your government probably knows everything about you. You need to know everything about government and stand up. It's supposed to be of the people, by the people, for the people.
Yeah, well, actually, one more question, Wes. The legislative priorities have been a huge topic this week. We debated, should they be short, sweet, and succinct, or should they be more elaborate? As a lawmaker and somebody who cares very much about what the RPT is doing and working on and what's on the legislative priorities, what is your perspective, and what role does the legislative priorities play in the lawmaking process for you?
Yeah, so I do look at the legislative priorities. For me, I've got years of bill ideas that I like, and so I want the government out of my life as much as possible. I also want the government to be fair and judicial where it's supposed to be properly. And so I think the legislative priorities are important. I think you can make an argument for either side of being very distinct and accurate to what it says, or very general. The problem is if you get general with it, then the legislature can do something different, but meets that general description, and then you're kind of disappointed. So
Right.
yeah, I like the distinct sometimes too. So
Yeah. I've heard a couple people maybe criticize making it too long because you essentially end up with a second platform. And the other thing is that, maybe lawmakers will just take one or two things from a list of 40 and call that a significant win. So
Yeah,
any
that's fair.
thoughts on that?
no, I think that's accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would make me lean towards the let's be specific, and I also like one sentence.
Yeah. I appreciate short, sweet, and succinct.
Yeah, be very specific in one sentence.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, where go out in the fridge and find that thing, or go to the grocery store and find that stuff.
Yeah,
Right?
well, my wife says I don't know how to find
Be
anything, so.
specific. I need
Yeah.
all the help I can get. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. This is Wes Virdell. He's a state rep and a taxpayer champion. We're really grateful for him spending some time with us. Stay tuned for more coverage of the 2026 RPT Convention from Houston, and we'll talk to you then.